An Aventus killer? No way. Would Fragcom accept something like that in 2020? I don't know, but let's find out. So, we got a new fragrance come in this video today, and that one is none other by the House of Parfums de Marly, Layton Exclusif. Now, not a lot of people have been talking about this one on there. There's been some talk on here for YouTube, but one thing I noticed for sure back when people were talking about it was they all had the 75 ml. Now, people were complaining about that, how they didn't like that. They wish they had the 125 ml, which is what we have here actually. Now, I don't know when they released the 125 ml, but I was happy to get my hands on this one. This was a blind buy, and I didn't expect what I expected out of this one, and I was really impressed. So this one's kind of a first impression, kind of not. I got this one last night, so I haven't had it very long, but as you can see, of course, we got this in the 125 ml back here. And the actual presentation of this box is different from the other Parfums de Marly's. This is my very first Parfums de Marly, so I don't have any other to really compare it with the other boxes, but if you want to see what other Parfums de Marly fragrances look like, you can go on YouTube and search them up. But this is Layton Exclusif, so the exclusive version is just like the Pegasus Exclusive, which released this year. I don't remember which month this year, but it did release this year. And it's the same presentation as this. We have this open box like this. You have Layton, of course, the exclusive version in here. And then we have a card that comes in here, of course, as with any Parfums de Marly fragrance. We're not going to read that. That's not really important as much as the fragrance is. So you take it out of here, this little sleeve, and we get the full bottle. In presentation, you can see here. It's really no different from the regular Layton, except for it says Layton Exclusive on it. Now, when I first smelled this fragrance, and I smelled it last night, this actually brought a really big grin on my face, because I've never been so impressed and blown away by a fragrance other than Layton Exclusive. And honestly, when comparing it head-to-head with Creed Aventus, I do think this is an Aventus killer. Never really found any fragrance out there that is better than Creed, but I think I finally found it. This fragrance is very unique. It's a little daring. I took a risk at really blind buying this one. I would recommend putting your nose on this one first before picking it up, honestly. It's a little bit daring, I would say. The note breakdown on this one's kind of more difficult. It's more complex of a scent than anything else, and if anything, one of the most key notes in this one, the reason why I would say getting your nose on this one, is oud. Now, the oud in this one is it's animalic because we have civet in here, but that also kind of gives it a little bit of a earthiness / animalic is that oud. Now, the oud in here is not, like I said, is not very dirty smelling. Well, it's dirty, but it's not stinky smelling like some of the other oud fragrances. This one's actually a really nice, mellow oud. It's not super heavy, but it's not super light, if that makes sense. Now, this one is also kind of smoky. It comes off smoky. There's no, at least that I know on the breakdown, and I don't smell it exactly on here, but there's no incense in it. I think there's this earthiness that comes with this fragrance that is kind of gives it off a smoky vibe to it. It goes very Middle Eastern, I think, compared to other fragrances out there. And once again, it's that oud. It kind of goes in this Middle Eastern direction, like any other Middle Eastern fragrance out there. It's very rich and dense. On the opening of this fragrance, it's very fresh. There's this kind of like minty feel to it, and I don't know which note it is exactly. I think it could be bergamot in here. That kind of gives it this like mint feel. It comes off fresh. The dry down is where it's completely different. It's been often compared to the original Layton. I've never smelled original Layton. In fact, this is the only Parfums de Marly fragrance I've actually ever smelled / owned, because I blind bought this one. And people often say that the opening on this fragrance is a lot like the original Layton. So I can't tell you for sure, from my opinion, if it smells a lot like Layton, but I kind of see how people are talking about it, because the original Layton is often described as being a very fresh scent, and it's very fresh in the opening. It's not too terribly fresh. It's kind of, it's not very sharp. It's kind of more mellowed out, if that makes any sense. So It's that you get that, and it's also very dark, and it gets very dark really quickly once it comes to the dry down part of this fragrance. I can't give you a performance issue update on this one yet because I haven't really worn this out yet, but I've heard that this fragrance lasts at least 10 hours or more on skin. This stuff, when I first sprayed it on skin, it was very powerful, very loud, very strong projecting. Um, I washed it off because I had to go. There was no sense in wearing it around the house because I didn't want to bother anybody around the house with how strong this fragrance is because it is a very strong. But just based off of observation, how I think I'm going to be wearing this one, I would probably recommend a spray. I wouldn't even recommend two sprays with this one. This is a very potent scent in a good way. But if you overspray it, then it's not in a good way. So this is very easy to overspray with, but it's a very good scent. And yeah, it's an Aventus killer. This stuff is very sexy too. At the same time, it's very sophisticated. It's very masculine. It's marketed as a unisex scent. I don't see how this is unisex by any means. I think this is very masculine. It leans on the masculine side. Very sophisticated. Some people say that this could be rocked casual. I don't really see how this could be used casual. This is the opening, I guess, could be seen as being a casual scent if the opening stayed the same in the dry down, which if that's the case, then that's technically Layton, the original, because Layton stays pretty fresh throughout the whole fragrance from what I have gotten. This one gets very dark, so I can't recommend this one being very, casual. I see this one as a very sophisticated type of event. To wear this one, you could wear this one in a suit, and you want to kind of stick more, I guess. Anything that's outside of the casual realm of things. Now, for the season, I would recommend this one for fall and winter. The opening can be tempting. It can make you think, well, if it's fresh in the opening, couldn't it work for the summer? No. Once again, that opening doesn't last. And also, the stuff is very strong. So if you wear this in the heat, it's going to get clawing. I can pretty much promise you that. So, sorry about the sun. It just started coming in here randomly like that. But, yeah, going back to what I was saying, this one you want to stick with in the winter and fall season. You might be able to get away with it in the spring, but once that, depending on where you live, where I live, towards mid-spring, it gets too hot. The early spring time is good, but anytime in the middle of the spring and late spring, depending on where you live, if it gets hot, avoid it. But I really love the scent. I love the presentation on this bottle, too. It's very simple, but I like it. It's heavy. It's got really good weight. This cap, as with any other Parfums de Marly fragrance, as described, they're very heavy. This cap is freaking heavy. It's all metal. I don't think there's any plastic in this except for the inside, but it's very heavy. It's robust. It's everything you could ask for. It's masculine. It feels cool in the hands. It looks cool in the hands. Presentation's nice. The juice on this stuff is unbelievably amazing. I've never smelled anything this good. It's just different. It's very different. You won't. That goes back to uniqueness. This scent is very unique. So, for a date night, oh yeah, hands down. You're not gonna smell like her ex if you're wanting to impress a girl with this fragrance. You're going to because it's very unique. Price point on this fragrance is quite high. I bought this one off of Fragrance X and got this at a really good discount. I believe if you're ordering this directly off of Parfums de Marly, I think it's $390, $400 range. So it's about the price of a Aventus. I paid, okay, so on Fragrance X for Aventus, I paid $370 something. Let me move this because it's actually really bright. I apologize for that. But Aventus was like $370 something off of Fragrance X, and I paid $280 something. That was with shipping and tax. So without shipping and tax, I think it was like $260 something. So yeah, that's a really good deal for this fragrance because it's a lot more. And it's 100 mil. I mean, not 100, but a 125 mil. So I thought that was a really good deal. So I think it was $270 for the maybe $280. No, $290 something. I think for the 75 mil. But for the, and that's on Parfums de Marly, their website. For their boutique, it's $290 retail. I don't know how much it was on Fragrance X for their pricing, but I know for the 125 mil, you can get it for easily $260 something, and that's about what I paid. But with tax and shipping, of course, you're gonna pay about $280. So I think it's worth it. This is a great fragrance. The presentation on it is nice. It's everything you could ask for a fragrance, honestly. It's my second niche in my fragrance collection, and it's definitely an Aventus killer. I think we found something that can defeat Aventus, and Aventus is great. It's not much more better than Aventus. I'm not gonna say it kills it by a long shot, but it is better than Aventus, and it's going to be more unique than Aventus, I think. Do I find, which one would I find more wearing? Of course, Aventus, because it's much more casual and mass appealing. This one's much more artistic and more niche smelling versus this one. They're both niche smelling. This one has more of a niche quality than this one. This has more of that designer, mass appeal, mainstream scent. This one's just much more artistic. So it depends on what you look for. So that's my review of Parfums de Marly Layton Exclusif. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I've got more videos coming out soon. I bought one other fragrance. I'm not going to tell which one that one is, but I'm going to do a review of that one soon. It's a designer, so this one's going to be going towards the designer folks out there that are into the fragrance community. And it's been reviewed a bunch of times, but I thought I would give my opinion on it. And check out that video soon. Anyway, I hope y'all guys have a great day.